first smart, further and farther and smart sports, music, art, recreation, and technology. I'm here. I'm here with my son, Jeremiah Maynard, and this is a test run. We just want to get the first one off the ground. There's no structure. I didn't buy the banner yet for the background. Didn't do a great intro yet. All that's to come. But we want to make it a safe place for dads, whoever likes sports, music, art, recreation, and technology. Really, it's not anything super structured. We just want to have a good time talking about sports, music, art, recreation, and technology. Every once in a while he'll lend me some of his youthful wisdom. Sometimes we need the youthful wisdom. You know, so without further ado, let's get it cracking, Jeremiah. So the first topic in the sports. First topic in sports. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about the MVP race. He's right. He's watching the Knicks. I mean, actually, the Lakers are on right now, right next to us. But we can't have it on the screen because they'll mess up whatever the algorithm or whatever reasons that YouTube and Facebook will block it. They'll block it anyway. Um, the MVP race in basketball. So who do you have as your favorite to win the MVP, Jeremiah?
I want LeBron to win, but Steph, he's been having a really good season.
You say you want LeBron to win, but
Like he's been averaging like 30.5, I think, for the past month, which is which is pretty cool. But his team's not doing good at all. Like the defense is awful. They're losing 7-18 right now. So they're they're terrible.
they're not terrible. They're just not. They just haven't met
Let's be
expectations.
honest. Like I have to be honest, is probably the biggest disappointment I've seen in my entire life.
You got high expectations for
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook.
like him during 2016 and 2017 was he was that dude, but now he's the exact opposite. Like he's not even an all star now. He's not even a great player, well, a good player now. He's like an average point guard now.
Why do you think? Why do you think that is? Why do you think
I don't know.
he's going through
The
this?
pressure probably went to his head. He probably realized the expectations ever since he got like a really great team, like people around him.
Right.
The expectations started going and like, okay, now he's capable of leading a team to the championship. Because he when he was on Defender with like, well, I think Harden and Kevin Durant, he was used to being the second dude. So he was in his comfortable zone, being able to make the mistakes that he made, but still being able to play great. But then when he was the main guy, when KD left and Harden left, and he was the main guy, they weren't expected to do good, so they kept doing good. Like he had a reason to be able to play. Like he had people to prove wrong, and yeah. So, but then like once he started getting good players around him, there was higher expectations of people expecting him to go to the championship, going farther in the playoffs, but they would just lose either in the first round or the second round. So, like I think it's the expectations and the pressure going towards that.
But going back to when they went to the finals in OKC, he was literally their best player, right? Played the best. He wasn't their best. He wasn't their best player. I would say Durant was their best player, but he played the best. I guess it was because it was carefree.
Yeah,
Right? You think it because it's carefree that he played um so there's something about stress, right?
yeah,
And also he's going back home, right? He's from LA. He went to UCLA, and I guess that pressure. So not everybody can go home and play. You know what I mean? Especially in a big market like LA or New York or Philly or what have you. Not everybody can play at home. So that could contribute to it also because he actually did okay on Washington the second half of the season, which is why I should just say LA Braun LA
it's like
LA Braun wanted him to come to 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 the Lakers, and they tried to build. But see, what's so tricky with this is they may be horrible, like you said during the regular season, but that experience when the game slows down in the postseason, that's what I'm waiting to see. I won't call him a failure until I see what happens in the
I think
postseason.
they're barely in the playoffs now. That's the thing. Like they're playing so bad now that I don't even think like they could be kicked out of the playoffs. Honestly, like from how they're playing. I don't remember what standing they were in. Last time I checked, they were like eight.
Right.
So like eight is like the last. It's like the last number. I don't know if they still go only by the tournament rules
Right.
that they enacted like during I don't know during 2020 during the pandemic when it started like picking up.
Right.
I don't know if that's still a thing, but yeah, they're in eighth. Like if they are in eighth place right now, like they got to pick it up. Like they're playing worse than the Knicks did during the 2018. Like
Wow. And I'm a Knicks fan, and that hurt.
they're playing like really bad. Like this is the defense is actually awful. Like I don't I don't think a high schooler like me should that doesn't really like watch basketball should be going, yo, this defense is terrible. Like they're just standing there watching the people take the shots and laying up the ball. Like they're just watching it go in basically.
Do you think there's a strategy behind it, since they're all veterans, that they may be conserving their energy until the playoffs? I'm not sure about that. I think that I'm not sure about. I'm just
Honestly,
throwing that out there.
Like,
I'm just
honestly,
throwing
I
that
don't
out there.
think so because like normally when you conserve energy, at least you put at least a little bit effort, like a little bit of effort into it.
Right.
Like it looks like they're so lackadaisical with the defense. Like they're barely even sweating by the time it's the third quarter. Like they're not even tired. Like, they've just been walking around. Like maybe like I don't know. Maybe it's just like their team's old. Like they just haven't been running. Like they don't do. Like people like John Morant. He does like a lot of hustle and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like the way he's been playing. Like I remember like it was like last year. I told you when he's first drafted. I told you like yo, this dude's gonna be the next Michael Jordan. Like
Well, I said no, well, not that fast, but I think he's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite young
he's
players,
gonna be the next.
and he should be in the MVP race.
But like people like that is what the Lakers need because yes, they have the experience, but they don't have the like they have the athleticism kind of, but they kind of move old. They're like an old car racing against a whole bunch of new cars that are being made.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. And we were just talking about, the topic really is the MVP race, but since the Lakers are on the TV, we can't help but talk about the Lakers, even though I'm a Knicks fan and I grew up a Nets fan because of Dr. J. But um, the MVP race is interesting because they're saying Jokic is the most disrespected MVP. He has better stats this year than he had last year. Embiid is playing out of his mind. But you said Steph Curry. Steph Curry he's played well in the beginning of the season, but this last month or so he hasn't been. He statistically he's not playing as well as he normally plays, but the team is playing phenomenal.
I think he dropped like 40 something the other day.
He did.
I think it was like right after he had like a drought or something. He wasn't doing as well as he wanted to do.
Right.
The game before, but I think he had like 40 something. But yeah, he's Steph. Like honestly, he's been insane this season. Like can he score like 62 or something like earlier this year?
I believe so. I would have to look at it.
That's like the highest this season. Like this
It's one of them. It's one of them.
like if not MVP, definitely offensive player of the year. Is that like an award?
I believe it is. I believe there is an offensive player of the year award.
Definitely should win that. Like what's been going on? What's been going on with the Nets?
The Nets. I think the same thing has happened with the Lakers, the expectations, but also the politics. The COVID politics going on, and because of they play extremely well when they all play together. But there's certain things that have been a blockage for the all three playing at the same time, whether it be health, whether it be COVID, things like that. But even with all of that, I watched the Miami Heat just beat up my Knicks the other day, and they play extremely well as a team, right? The makeup of the team is not. They have some very good players. I don't want to call anybody on their team great, right?
I feel like RJ's going to be great in this league.
Well, if we're talking about the Knicks, yes. I was talking about Miami Heat.
Oh, the Miami Heat.
Yeah. I have. There's a lot of very good players. Jimmy Buckets he's an all-star caliber player, but he's not. He doesn't play at that level all the time.
I think Kyle Lowry could has the possession to be considered great. Like probably.
Well, he has a chip now, but I wouldn't. If you listed all the point guards in the league, would he be
But
in the
like,
top 10?
let's say for
I don't know.
Toronto, isn't he like one of the greatest probably the greatest point guard to play for them?
For Toronto,
Yeah.
um, there's an argument there that technically Tracy McGrady was playing point guard when he was there. Yeah, so you could kind of say no if you want to talk about all around basketball skill. That's where he gets into the politics of the team. Um, a team that wins a championship doesn't necessarily mean that the players are better. Like um, like when they had Vince and McGrady, they're more talented than anybody who's been on the team recently, other than Kawhi, right? So, um, you know, I think my Knicks, and I think that since we're talking about MVP and I'm going to throw John Morant's into the mix.
For the MVP.
Well, for the MVP, I think he has earned the right because of the tear he's been on, tearing up some of the elite teams. It's like he goes harder. He's already going hard.
Yeah.
But it seems like he goes a little harder on what would be considered an elite team, and invariably he'll come out with like 30, near 10 assists.
He's been definitely my favorite to watch so far. Like Steph, he's been doing really great, but I really like watching John Morant play.
Yeah, I do too. I like watching John Morant play. Yep. Next topic, the Knicks. The Knicks. The next topic, the Knicks, my Knicks. And so it would be the whole show, but I'm going to keep it brief. We were talking about expectations, the issues that Russell had, the issues that the Nets have. The Nets have that issue; they can't meet up to expectations. Well, the bar was set pretty high last year with Julius Randle winning the most improved player, Thibodeau winning the coach of the year. So and they figured that they would tweak the roster and build with youth at some point, but still be good enough to go to the playoffs. And I wasn't feeling Fournier. I was more of I think we needed to be more athletic. So if you were going to get rid of Bullock, you had to get somebody more athletic, not less athletic than Bullock. And I think Fournier's less athletic than Bullock. I would have gone Oubre. I think right now we're watching Charlotte, and they're up by 11 on the Lakers, and Oubre's played well for them. I think he would have done well for the Knicks, and would have added that third southpaw, because you would have had Randall, you have RJ, and you would have Oubre, and that'd be awkward to guard for the other team. I think make it difficult on the other team. So I think that would have made it a little awkward for other teams to guard. But I think the issue is the first unit is really not what Thibodeau wanted, and I think there's like a political play that you got to play. Since they're paying those guys, they're paying Kemba, they're paying what's his name? I just said his name a minute ago. Fournier. They're paying Randall, so they put them all out there at the same time, but there's no cohesiveness with them. There's a lot of iso ball. That's a whole nother thing with the pressure. Randall played at an all-star level last year. Right now, he's playing like a little lost. He's playing a little lost, and I think he made a mistake when he put the thumbs down. He hasn't been the same since. When he did the thumbs down to the crowd and kind of told off the he hasn't been the same since he had to play in front of the MSG full crowd. Like when the gyms were empty last year, he balled out of his mind. But now that there's a crowd there, it's an added pressure. I think pressure has been the issue for all the teams we talked about. All the teams we talked about is that little bit of added pressure. Well, it looks like they're talking about getting rid of some of the older guys to make room, because they just got Cam Reddish from Atlanta, right? They just got Cam Reddish, and it's crazy because Thibodeau's so hard-headed. You just got a guy, you give him a number one pick, and you gave up Kevin Knox, and he won't play him. He's been here for like a week, There's been like 5 games, and he's only got in for 15 minutes.
Full camera.
Cam Reddish, yeah, and he got in at garbage time every time. It's not like Fournier is out there killing.
Wait, did they say Cameron has to earn his minutes or something? I don't know.
How's he going to earn his minutes during the season when they hardly practice?
Wait, why don't they practice?
They practice, but don't do as much. You can't go as hard during the season as you would during the off season because you have to. There's a rest period that you have for games. So yeah, he probably needs to be acclimated with the offensive system and the terminology. But ball is ball. Ball is ball. A quality pro can go out there and ball. It's just like when Harden came to the Nets. It didn't take him long. When Kyrie and Durant came to the Nets, it didn't take them long, right? You could design a system and simplify things for a new person, especially if they're more talented than the person that you already have out there. And just to point it, keep it a buck, to keep it 100. Cam Reddish is more talented than Fournier by a long shot, just in every aspect, defense. The only thing that's close is the shot, but I would still take Cam Reddish over Fournier. That's just me. Okay, next topic. Uh, Giannis, because we're going to keep this brief. We would go into a little more hot and heavy. Now, I love what Giannis did in the playoffs last year. And I like what he's doing this year. But do you think they have a chance to make it to the finals this year?
Finals, no. Because the Nets are technically all together.
Right.
What other teams are there? Charlotte's playing pretty good as well. A bit of problems with Charlotte.
Miami, the Sixers, Embiid. Oh, we talked about the MVP before. Embiid is playing out of his mind.
Whatever happened to Ben Simmons?
He's out. He's taking a mental health break. What's really happened is his politics. They don't want him. He doesn't want them. And the GM Morley is the same guy who was on Houston. Remember, he's the one who built the team around Harden before. So I think on the slide, that's what he's waiting for, to try and get Harden. Like, he's being really strict about getting superstars in return for him. So basically, he's punishing him by making him sit out, and at the same time, he's holding out to get the player that he wants. And I think Ben Simmons, they try to blame him for the loss last year. He has some blame for not wanting to shoot, yes, but also his defense kind of put them into position to even be there. I know the big Frenchman won the award, but the best defender last year was Simmons in the league. It wasn't even close. The best on ball. He's 6'10" and he's playing point guards, and he's playing big men at the same time. So defense is also a part of the game. Now, his lack of it's not that he can't shoot, because he shows videos all the time of him shooting. It's not that it's like this mental block. Why won't he shoot? So Ben Simmons is kind of sitting out. He's saying mental health, he doesn't feel that the coach has his back. The other best player doesn't have his back. But that's kind of weak, to be honest. He should play through that, to be honest. And then put himself in a position to be moved on to another team based on excellence. You don't do it based on nonsense. You do it based on excellence. And he should have gone out and played to the best of his ability. If they want him to shoot. Even if he has a poor percentage, at least you're not playing 5-on-4 on offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing. Football. Your boy, who's your boy again? Your boy is Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, they just lost, man. And I was kind of surprised. I actually thought that they were the team that would go to the Super Bowl from if it wasn't Brady, I thought it was going to be Aaron Rodgers this year, right? I thought that it was kind of open. I thought that had the Cardinals got themselves together, they could have done a little something. I thought the Cowboys would implode, and they did. I really thought that it was a good chance for Aaron Rodgers, even with all the politics, for him to go to to the Super Bowl again and win it. And I know if he didn't, that this offseason is going to be different. I think he's serious about moving on. I know he's your favorite. Where do you think he would want to go? Because I don't think he wants to be part of a rebuild. That's why he doesn't want to be where he is now.
I don't really know that many teams like where they stand right now. I
Right.
haven't really followed the season this much as much as I
Normally do.
normally do, but I think I saw something earlier today about him wanting to go to Denver. I think.
That kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. They're talented on both sides of the ball. Their GM is an ex MVP, quarterback. He did it with Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning had problems in Indiana. It kind of makes sense. That's kind of a good
Who's the
good choice.
quarterback for Denver?
Right now it's Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay, yeah.
It's Teddy Bridgewater right now.
So sometimes I confuse them with the Chicago Bears.
But he got hurt, and the guy Drew Lock they had drafted a few years before was filling in, and neither one of them I guess blew Elway away. So though Teddy Bridgewater played well when he was in there, he's not Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. He's not Aaron Rodgers. So if Aaron Rodgers goes there, it would be a very stacked AFC next year. Because you didn't get a chance to see the best game, one of the best games I've ever seen.
Was it with Aaron Rodgers?
No. It was the Chiefs against the Bills. That game was like that was just last weekend. That game was one of the best games I've ever seen.
It was like 42-34, right?
Something like it was even higher. It was closer than that. It was closer than that. I think it was literally it was tied, and then the touchdown in the overtime. It was really whoever had the ball last was going to win. That's how lethal both quarterbacks played, and how efficient and clutch they were. They were really clutch. They were really clutch, especially Mahomes. Mahomes, I know we used to talk back and forth. You say Aaron's a little better. I would say I think Mahomes is a little better now. I think Mahomes is a lot better now, and Mahomes is on a whole nother level right now. And it's not just the weapons he has. Part of it is because what that slant he threw he threw a slant to what's his name? I keep saying Hall like it's back in the old days of I was like he runs like Dante Hall but way faster. What's the receiver on
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, not Hall Hill, not Hill Hall Hill. Tyreek Hill, he hit him on a crossing pattern, and it was like the other people were walking and he was running. It was a wrap. Once he caught the ball, it was over. So, but even with the excellence that he has with Kelsey and with Hill, Mahomes, and I would add to that the offensive coordinator of Bieniemy and Reed, because they're gutsy. They don't believe in just sitting on it, but they go for it. And it was a great game, and now that's who I expect to win the Super Bowl. I expect Kansas City to pull it off, but you can't sleep on Cincinnati. That old LSU connection.
Who's Cincinnati?
They have Burrow, and they have the receiver from LSU.
Bengals.
The Bengals, yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals, yeah. It's going against Kansas City.
Yes, I wouldn't mind them winning, to be honest.
You wouldn't mind them winning? That'd be different.
Because when Joe Burrow first came into the league, before he hurt his ACL, I think it was.
I believe it was his ACL. You think it was ACL or
Yeah, he
MCL?
hurt himself. I was excited to see him play because I didn't really see a person play the way he played in like college football before like that,
Mhm.
or like go undefeated and then win the championship.
Oh, I've seen it a few times. I'm a little older, but I get why you would be excited about that.
So it's like, holy wow, this is going to be insane.
Yeah.
I've never really seen like a draft like that, whereas like a quarterback just like we're like, oh wow, this dude just got finished carrying his team all the way to the championship undefeated and then win it.
Well, there's one guy who did. And he used to call himself Superman, but he got hit so much.
Raise my camp.
Yeah, he did the same thing in college. He took the team to the championship and won it, and then got drafted first, and played well that at least while he was in Charlotte. But yeah, Cincinnati has a chance to be very, very, very good, very good. I would go on to my Knicks. I'm not my Knicks, my Giants, who just picked up a new GM and a new coach. But really, they're kind of. Can I be honest? As a Giants fan, they're kind of boring. I'll be honest. They're kind of boring. As an honest Giants fan, since Barber, since my running back Barkley got hurt, we haven't been entertaining at all.
He got hurt again.
No, that was I'm talking about, was that last year, the year before? Yeah, and Danny Dimes, he has some gifts, he has some talents, but he seems a little unsure. He trips over invisible players, and you know he fumbles the ball a lot. We'll see though. I'm in a wait and see mode with the Giants. I'm in a wait and see mode. I hope they do a little better than they did this last year. At least try to build. And you can't blame it all on the offensive line. Sometimes your quarterback has to win the game. Sometimes your skill players have to be nice and just win the game. You know, there's something to it, but it can't be all that. And even then, when you pick an offensive lineman, why are you picking the least athletic? We're playing sport. A sport is athletic. There's athleticism in sports. There's a kid named Scherf on the University of Iowa who's jumping out of pools. You see that? He jumped out of a pool. He's running a 4.6 as a lineman. He's over 300 pounds. He's an all-pro now on another team. And we had a chance to pick him. We picked Thomas because he went to an SEC school and he's big, and he called him Hog Molly or whatever. But he's not as good. Why can't we just pick good? Anyway, that's my Giants rant. Okay, on to boxing. I know who your favorite is. Canelo Alvarez. Talk to the people about why Canelo Alvarez is your favorite. Tell me why is your favorite.
I feel like he's like that, other than I guess like Terrence Crawford or Tyson Fury. Maybe he's like the one person that is about that small. Like he's about that. Like genuinely, he'll fight anybody from any weight division.
Mhm.
Like he doesn't like pay doesn't matter to him. And I genuinely dislike the thought of like, oh, Floyd Mayweather is better than him. Because the way Floyd fights, I don't like the way that like he picks how he fights people. Like he'll either choose to fight against them when they're at their weakest for the most money, opposed to when they're at their strongest. Like Pacquiao, he literally could have fought Pacquiao earlier on when he was like healthier
Mhm.
for less money. Yes, for less money, but he was afraid of the chance. Like, yo, I could lose for less money. Nah, let me wait until he's old. Let me wait until he's old so I can get some more money.
Of course, in boxing, there's politics, and for the way he treats women, I'm not that much of a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him, but I appreciate his defense. He's probably the best defense, one of the best defenses I've seen in the history of boxing. I love his defense, but you're right about the politics and the persona I could do without. But my dude is Terrence Crawford, and I love the young guy Shakur Stevenson. I love the young guy Shakur Stevenson, and also there's a young heavyweight last name Anderson. He's very skilled, very very skilled. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on in boxing.
Canelo, he learns after every fight. Like after his loss from Floyd,
Right.
he learned to improve his defense, which
Right.
was his defense became dramatically better.
Right.
So he became less of a charge in, knockout type of fighter.
Right.
Like how Deontay Wilder is.
Yeah.
He changed. Well, he wasn't like that. He wasn't that wild at all.
Right.
Like he was definitely technical, but he was more of a I'm going to go in and I'm going to knock this person out type of fighter.
Right.
Trust me, he's still that, but he's way more technical now.
Okay.
His technicality when it comes to boxing, I have to probably say is the best in boxing.
Even better than Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko, because those two technically are the best to me.
Yes, but Lomachenko, he's technically sound.
Yeah.
But he didn't throw that many punches and lost that championship.
Just because he was playing chess when he needed to play checkers. When he needed to play checkers.
Canelo, honestly, if he went against Teofimo Lopez,
yeah,
he would have knocked that dude out.
Right.
He would have
Right.
knocked him out second round. Because notice he lost. Did you see Teofimo Lopez's fight?
Which one? The most recent one?
He lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that dude that he fought against,
Yes.
I love that dude. Sporadic. I forgot his name. He's Australian.
Right.
That dude is nice. This is sporadic, and I was going for him for the entire fight because Teofimo Lopez, he's extremely arrogant and cocky, and like that's something like when it comes to certain sportsmen, like we're gonna talk about skating. There's like there's people there that I don't like because like they're cocky,
Right.
but like he was really cocky, and I was looking at this like smooth, calm Australian dude, and I was like, okay, I like this dude. And I looked at one of his other videos, I was like, oh, this guy's pretty fast. I like this. So he fought, and like when they fought, that fight was so exciting to watch. It was actually genuinely exciting to watch. But like people like Canelo, he's so technically sound that he'll prepare before the fight and he'll do exactly what he needs to do in order to beat that person.
I like Canelo as well.
Like he went from a lightweight, I think, or like a light featherweight, like, and now he's like a light heavyweight. Like that's pretty cool to me.
But there's something about the timing and excellence of Terence Crawford to me. No matter who he fights, he eventually figures them out.
I want to see him go against Errol Spence.
I think he said that too. He said he wants to go. He said he wants to go against Errol Spence too. He said somebody had to figure it out.
Is there another person that I want to see him against?
Did he just beat Trump? Who did he just beat?
What's his name? The dude with the smile corner.
Yeah. I can't think of his name right now.
I actually really like that.
I like that. He's a nice boxer. He's really good.
Really gritty. I like the way he fights.
He fights hard.
I'm tired after that fight too.
Yeah, he was getting hit, man. I don't think he's ever been hit like that before. He's been hit where he couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? He had no control. That's how good Terence Crawford is. He hits.
Didn't he stop him?
Yeah, he stopped.
Well, yeah, that's talking about Errol Spence. When he went against him, they went up to like the 9th round.
Right.
It went to like it went to the final round. Actually, it went to a split decision. He didn't even knock him out.
Right.
And they had to choose who was the winner. Whereas Terence Crawford, when did he stop him? It was like, I don't know. It was like probably the 5th, probably 5th or 6th. I don't remember.
Right.
But yeah, Terence Crawford. Errol Spence needs to work on his defense definitely because his defense, he gets hit a lot. Like he gets touched up a lot.
Right.
So like if he went against Terence Crawford and he didn't focus on his defense and Terence Crawford hits him on that jaw, he's gonna get knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Another person I also like is Tank Davis.
Oh yeah.
That
That
dude is a dog.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia, like he says, "Oh, I'm gonna beat that dude's gonna." He's not gonna win. He's not beating Tank. He's not.
He's good though. He's good.
He got dropped by I call him like the dude that he got dropped by. He's the dude that all the top people in the division beat.
Right.
Like Canelo, no, Lomachenko beat him.
Yeah.
Like Gervonta Davis would destroy that dude.
Right.
And it's like, oh, Gervonta gets touched up, but he touches those people back. Like,
He more than touches. He hits hard for his size. He reaches like a mini Tyson. To a degree.
Ryan Garcia's like footwork isn't as good as Gervonta Davis's footwork. And he's like not as good as a counterpuncher. He's fast. Don't get me wrong. Like he's really fast.
Right.
But like if he like the way he got touched up by that last dude he fought against, if Gervonta were to touch him like the way he touched him,
right,
he's gonna be asleep. He's gonna be asleep. So unless he because he's been training with Canelo, so that's gonna be some change there.
Right.
So like I'm pretty sure he's going to be way better than he was before. So if he gets better, then he'll definitely be able to beat not definitely be able to beat, but he'll be able to compete with Gervonta Davis. But from what I think, Gervonta would probably knock him out or just beat him until they throw the towel.
Well, we've been on for a half an hour now, and we just basically just touched completely on sports. And for those who are watching, we're going to open it up for people next time. Next time we want to have more people involved, more voices involved. But this is the very first one, and this is just a test. And we want your opinions. We want to hear what you have to say about. We don't have a background yet. We don't have it's not as fancy as it's supposed to be. My head's supposed to be blocking this crooked switch behind me, and I forgot I moved over. We want your feedback on what we're talking about. So now we're going to shift over to music. A lot of people don't know this about me. I love gospel hip hop. I'm a gospel hip hop head. I listen to a lot of gospel hip hop. I listen to a lot of different things, jazz. I'm a drummer at heart. My best friend when I was a child, Ray Holmes, taught me how to play drums. My father used to play bongos. He brought bongos in the house, and I used to play bongos. And so anything with a beat, I started making beats. And then, it was an MC and the whole nine. And shout out to all the X Factor crew who I grew up with, and those that do used to be up at BAU, WBAU, Wild Man Steve, and even Marnie. People don't you don't even know that your former superintendent. She was a nice MC. She was pretty good, man. 411, and yeah, we there's a lot of music that I really listen to. I remember going to a concert just before COVID hit in. My wife and I went to see Jill Scott, and the year before that we went to see Anita Baker, her last concert. So there's a lot of good quality music. You're not limited to what's on the radio anymore. I'm going to ask a question I already know the answer to, but who's your favorite artist? Who's your favorite artist?
Definitely Childish Gambino.
And for those who don't know who Childish Gambino is, this is a multi-talented man. Tell them about your favorite artist.
Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. He's extremely talented. He's dabbles into every type of art, such as like acting, writing, producing, directing, singing, rapping. He does it. He literally does it all. Producing, like, well, one production for TV shows and movies, also production for music. Like, two different types of production. So like him as an artist, he's genuinely insane. And it's not like he's not like just one of those artists. Like, there's a lot of artists out now that try to do a lot of those things.
Right.
He doesn't just try those things. Like, he's actually great. Like, he's not like he's good. He's great at all of those things.
Right.
Which is actually genuinely insane to think
I
of.
saw him do a freestyle on is it Sway in the morning, right? I saw him do a freestyle. He's very gifted. I take it serious when somebody is skilled. Lyrics, anybody who knows me knows lyrics are important to me. The style in which you release them is important, but even more important is the content. If you're bringing double and triple entendres, I'm listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm listening. If there's quality behind the thought, the poignancy behind the thought, I'm listening. And it doesn't hurt because, like I said, I used to make beats. If the beat is hot, that makes everything. It means everything to me when it comes to that. But when you think of Childish Gambino, when I first heard Childish Gambino, your favorite, I thought of a couple of people that he was influenced by because I listened to influences. So when you used to chopping up old music to make beats, you start hearing how things are assembled and kind of put together. And I hear Curtis Mayfield. I used to make beats with Fred is dead. You know that you've heard that, and he kind of reminds me of Prince a lot. He gets a lot of influence from Prince, Bootsy Collins. You right there with me. Yep. So a lot of that funk, a lot of the old 70s R&B is like I hear an influence from that in him. Yeah.
Recently made an album,
Mhm.
but from his recent stuff, I really like his appearance on Thundercat's album.
Mhm.
Like, he's not an artist that I don't think I showed you yet,
No.
but Thundercat, he's a bassist. He's insane. He's genuinely actually insane with the bass.
Mhm.
He's disgusting, and one of his albums, it is what it is, that came out last year.
Mhm.
He had a song called Black Corals with Thundercat, Steve Lacy, Childish Gambino, and I forgot the other dude's name. He's a very popular funk artist.
Mhm.
I forgot his name though, but that song right there was really good. Like, it was really good, and I liked his appearance on there. But his album that came out during 2020,
Mhm.
which is called 31320,
Right.
which genuinely is so criminally underrated. It's disgusting because it had no promotion whatsoever. He didn't promote it whatsoever. He just dropped it, which I have so much respect for. I love artists that can just drop something. Like, whether if it's like you're into painting, you're into drawing, or you're into making music, you just drop it. And when he dropped it, like his songs on there that could genuinely be like,
hits, but
it could be hits, but they're not because
they don't have the popularity because they don't have the notoriety.
and I find it so cool
Mhm.
how like he's been underrated for almost all of his career.
Mhm.
But I find it so cool as to where now his album, which he had no promotion on, none of like there's songs on there that have millions of listens. I'm like, wow, people are actually starting to listen to this dude's music. Like they're actually like going out of their way to listen to it. Because like his fandom, which I'm a part of, like we're extremely loyal to his music, like extremely loyal. So like
I want to stop you there. I want to stop you there because a lot of the listeners don't know that you're a musician as well, right? And as a dad, I like to foster that in you. So this last Christmas, I got you an electric guitar. Just starting to play guitar. But in the high school, he played the drums, right? You played the drums for the band. And then last year, I bought you a keyboard, right? So I really trying to foster that musicality, that musicianship in you, and uh, you know, which instrument is your favorite?
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a really hard question.
Uh-huh.
Like, if I was really good at the guitar, like, I would love playing the guitar.
Uh-huh.
Like, the keyboard, I've just recently, I wouldn't say I'm like really good at it,
Sure.
but I'm a decent piano player. Like, I can get on the piano, play something, and people are like, oh, wow, that's pretty good. Um, the drums, that's the one I'm the most experienced in. I've played it for about like four consistent years now.
My favorite instrument.
So like it's really hard to say because when it comes to the drums, I love grooving to like or making my own beats. Like when I produce or make a beat that I like,
Mhm.
I like when I make a producing beat that I like, I'll often try and not finish the beat. I'll like leave the drums out
Mhm.
and I'll take it to my school where they have a drum set for band.
Mhm.
And like right after we're done playing the music that we're learning, I'll just go crazy, like there's a lot of beats I've been working on recently. I have like 23 recently
It's good. That's good. That's good.
that I've been working on, and I just go crazy on the drums and I let that happen. But I love playing on the keyboard because there's just songs that I personally like really simple songs like Runaway by Kanye or like Redbone by Childish Gambino. Or there's certain songs like songs by JoJo or Steve Lacy or Thundercat that I'll play or Frank Ocean. I'll just play on the keyboard because that's the instrument I like to play where I get to play things from other people.
Okay.
The drums I like playing my
You're
beats.
you're groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it's hard to say which one's my favorite album.
Okay. We're almost we're up to art now. We're up to art now. Now, art is something. Music technically is part of art, so it's like really like a segue into art. And um, out of the arts, and it's not something you'd see. Black men talk about a lot. We don't talk about like art,
Yeah, which
right?
I just dislike so much because it's my favorite thing.
Oh,
It's my favorite thing.
I know you've been drawing since you were little. We got those pictures all over the place. In their old room, I actually let them draw on the wall because they were that good at drawing. Not just to give them a release, but they're actually that good at drawing that it really looked good. So they had like a mural on their wall that they drew, and um, I noticed that you draw a lot of the Japanese uh, cartoon style, anime, and
I used to draw those a lot during my ninth grade year, kind of.
Mhm.
Like I've kind of segued more to like a more like professional kind of look lately. Like I've been drawing a lot of like I don't know, well shaded characters and stuff, making my own characters or drawing what's in my head or what I'm thinking about lately.
Right.
Like I do like drawing an anime character, but I haven't drawn one like in a while.
Right.
It's been like probably a year.
Well, so your grandmother, um, God rest her soul, was an awesome artist. I initially went to college for architecture, which is basically artful engineering. Really, that's what it is. But um, that's the drawing part of it. Have you ever been curious about sculpting?
I love all things art. When we were younger,
Mhm.
mom would like make like hot pockets, and like before when we go outside, she like put them on tinfoil. I try and make as much things as I could with the tinfoil.
Mhm.
When I had Starburst, I knew how to make like exact replicas of like certain types of toys,
Mhm.
and I would play with them. They would last for at least like a week, and then we'll rip up. I'd throw one away, get a
Mhm.
new one, make it again, and so on and so forth. So yeah, like art as a whole is something that I genuinely love. And like I like sculpting, I love painting,
Mhm.
I love street art. That's some of my favorite art because it's it's has that black soulfulness to
Right.
it, kind of.
Yeah.
So like certain things like graffiti, like painting murals and stuff,
Mhm.
like certain things like that, I just love. Like when it comes to art, if there was one thing that I would genuinely want to like leave on this earth that a person could just look at, like let's say 100 years from now, a
Right.
person or 10 years, even 4 years, like a
Right.
person could just genuinely look at
Right.
and go, oh, who was this person? Like you just look through all my sketchbooks, you look through my work, and you're like, wow, this kid was dope. Like this kid understood. Like it wasn't just, oh, he's a kid that draws. He's a kid that wants to learn how to draw certain anime characters. He's one of those kids. No, this kid's an artist.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. So you want to be legacy minded in terms of your talent,
Yeah.
right? You want to leave a legacy in terms of talent. That's the desire that God put in your heart to be a dad. But we want to keep it fun. We're gonna keep it fun. We're gonna keep it fun because it's our sermon starts. Okay. Yeah. Recreation now. Recreation. I notice, and it scares me because his best sport is track. He's running in the tens, and he's fast. But he hurt himself last year, which is part of the reason he quit football. He was the quarterback of the football team, and he quit football because he didn't like being hurt. And uh, but now he's put himself in a little bit of danger sometimes because he loves to skateboard. That's his recreation. And as a dad, we have our recreations. I write, I do all sorts of other things, but for recreation. Some people like to work on cars. I've been watching this stuff with these supercars. There's a young guy out in, I think, Florida. He started buying them when he was in like high school, and he has these supercars and what have you. But people have different things that they consider recreation. Some people go hiking. Some people, but you do skateboarding.
It seems like yeah, skateboarding is something I could genuinely see myself like
Right.
having fun with and doing
Right.
for honestly until as long as I can possibly like, jump as high as I can to be able to pop and at least pop my board off of the ground.
Mm.
Because, a lot of skaters stop skating when they become, 30, they have their responsibilities. But like, I want to be able to become successful to the point where I'm able to do things that I like to do.
Mhm.
Like, like I'm sitting down one day, let's say painting or drawing. I'm like, I'm gonna go out with one of my friends, go skateboarding again. Like go to I don't know an indoor skate park and just start practicing because it's one of those things that it's like unlike basketball or like
Mhm.
let's say football or track that I play. It's one of those things you can just learn. There's so many tricks to learn that you you can
It
never
lends to your artistic side.
like you can never be bored with it. It's genuinely
Understood.
something that it's like a pre-release. Like, there's certain people out there that love
Mhm.
going up to certain like racetracks and driving a car as fast as it possibly can go.
Mhm.
And a lot of people look at them and go, no, that person's crazy. No, that's their thing. That's their it. Like
Right. Everybody has their it. So that's where recreation comes in. Recreation comes in where you're able to be creative and have pleasure in in whatever that creativity or relaxation or hobby or I know my uncle Tony used to build models. This is back before all these toys and video games, and we're getting that to a second because we're coming up to closing. Um, everybody has different things. So when we talk about recreation, that's part of building them. It's a mental health thing. Sometimes you take a break because your body needs to rest, but sometimes you need a break from the routine to do something you enjoy doing. And we want to encourage people to have some recreation, something recreation. In other words, it's like that echo. So I'm trying not to preach, but you know what I'm saying, right? The creativity, you got to put it into something. Some people back in the day used to fly kites. Some people used to make the RC cars. Some people would build stuff. They'll build. I, I remember I built like a legit basketball court that looked as real as possible out of wood, a bicycle rim. When the firemen came, because we put it on the pole outside on the street, right? And people play, we were playing and what have you. And the when the policemen and the firemen came around and told me, it said they literally told me this. It said, we feel terrible having to tell you to take it down because it looks so good, but you got to take it down. but but the creativity, you got to put it into something, right? Put it into something. So now you use skateboarding. What got you into skateboarding?
Honestly, my older brother, remember Ellington? Yeah, Ellington, like he would skate a lot. He
Yeah.
would skate a lot. Whenever we would go to the park, he would go to the skate park
Yeah.
while I'm trying to learn how to ride a bike.
Right.
And after I was tired of falling off and falling off and falling off, I'd go over and watch him. I wouldn't hop on because no, because I could barely even balance on a bike. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch. I'd watch him fall, 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 fall. You get back up and you
Yeah,
keep
you
trying.
see stuff.
You keep trying, keep trying. I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. What is this?
Yeah.
So then I start looking it up. I start looking up what skating is. And then I start watching a lot of people playing certain, like there's a game called Skate 3, which was pretty cool.
Mm.
That helped me learn a lot of tricks, like the name of tricks. I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. So then I met my friend Jalen in like fourth grade
Mhm.
through like a summer camp program.
Mhm.
And like I was like, yo, this guy's dope. Like we're both into the same things.
Mhm.
And later on, we met back up inside middle school and we started skating together.
Mhm.
We started skating with one another. Going to Kennedy Park, which is far,
Right.
far. We get tired of walking there when it's cold. But it's like friends and also family. Like Ellington and my friend Jalen, like they were the reason why I started skating because
I'm gonna tell you something. I want to give a shout out to my brother Ray Ray. I love you, man. He's in the hospital right now. I love you. We used to skate. You've been to 393 where we used to live in Lakeview. And shout out to Lakeview, Lakeview. Shout out to Lakeview. You saw what that driveway looked like, right? It's like it's mad steep. We used to scare your grandparents, but we used to go down there full speed, right out into the street. And yeah, there's been times we almost got hit by cars and the whole nine. But yeah, but we went to skateboarding everywhere as well. So you didn't know that about me, and you did know that about your uncle. But there's something about things that were done in the past that people repeat as recreation. Um, we can finish up on technology now, and we're gonna close. We're gonna wrap it up. Um, I was very proud of you to see you putting together a computer by yourself before. And then when you got your job, you're a young man, you're working over the summer, you got your money, you bought your own setup with the monitors and what have you to play video games. And even now you play video games with your friends. What are some of the top games? I'm a Star Wars guy. I just noticed some Star Wars video games coming out.
um I don't know. I don't really know that many like popular games. My friends and I we play like a select few of like these types of games. We play Red Dead Online. It's like Red Dead Redemption. It's like Cowboys.
Mhm.
It's like a
Is it like that movie we were watching the other day with Idris Elba?
it's a lot like that.
Okay.
Yes. It's a lot like parts of it's a lot like that. It's very realistic. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of story and story character development. There's like a lot within it.
Mhm.
Like it's a very good game to play. It's actually really fun. Like it's really hard to get bored when you play with your friends when it comes to that game.
Mhm.
That's almost every game.
And being in a pandemic and not being able to go over your friend's house, that was a kind of way of you guys connecting, right?
Yeah.
When as we talk about technology, even right now, we're using StreamYard, and next week we're going to have more guests on. It's not going to just be my son and I. We want to include, because this is a community that we're trying to build, and we just want to wet your whistle with what was capable, what's possible. Just those 5 areas you can go into some serious or some fun and funny areas. And I hear you guys laughing a lot. I hear you guys joking and cracking on each other a lot. I hear you guys having some serious conversations sometimes, about life. And it's technology has its pluses and its minuses. Sometimes you could be in a room with people and you're on your technology, not paying attention to the people in the room that you're with, which is a negative. But at the same time, when you want to connect with people, your peers who are not in your sphere, your physical sphere, you're able to connect with them using technology. But you have to be mindful that everything has eyes and ears now, right? Not to be preachy, but there's really no such thing as privacy, right? There's really no such thing as privacy, which means you're supposed to act right anyway. So, when you play Dead Red Redemption, I said it right, right?
Yeah.
I said Red Dead.
Right, yeah.
I said Red Dead Redemption. Okay, Red Dead. When you play that, does it kind of take you back into that time of the Cowboys? And,
Yes, it's like when you're able to create your own character, like the online version, you're able to create your own character, and the story version is
Avatar,
fun.
an avatar,
You're able to create your own avatar,
right?
and you can either have that character look exactly like you if you want,
Mhm,
if you put in the time, or you can make your character look like a character that you want to create.
mhm.
Which that's what I did. It would look weird seeing that character because in video games you die and like you respawn. Like inside that game, you're able to die and look at your own body. So that would have been weird if I saw myself on the ground.
Okay.
So I just created a character that I created, I don't know, a while ago when I was younger. I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to be able to create a character in a video game.
So you're able to create a character as an avatar, and that avatar, you play with your friends who are also using their avatars, and you go on adventures and what have you together.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Wow, we're down to the last 3 minutes, and I just want to say I love you, son. I hear a lot of growth and maturity and poignancy and thought behind what you do, and I want to encourage you to continue. The more you act creatively, the more you're acting like God. The more you complain, the more you act like the enemy, right? And I want you to operate in a safe environment where you can explore, but don't the boundaries. Freedom happens within boundaries, and I want you to enjoy sports, music, art, recreation, and technology. Love you, man. So, yeah. So next week we're going to add more people. Right. I didn't put out the StreamYard for everybody to be on. I didn't market it the way I could have, but this is the first show, and I want you to leave your comments. I want you to subscribe to the channel. The channel is Smart Sports, Music, Art, Recreation, and Technology on YouTube. If you're not already connected to us that way, we want to grow that channel. We want to grow the community so that in the same way and further and farther, we want to create a safe place. We want to create a safe place where people can express themselves under the banner of sports, music, art, recreation, and technology. God bless you. Have a great, great evening, and be excited to be alive. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.